Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. It is Sunday, the 23rd. No, it's not. It's the 22nd. I hope everybody is well. I'm so sorry that I'm late. Um, it was a long movie. I just want to find my list. I'm going to go to PayPal and find my list. I hope everybody's well. Hi, Charlie girl. I got that you paid, so I'll put you on here. And then I have Regine and Debris, and that's all I have right now, and that's okay. Oops. How is everybody? Did everybody have a good week? Okay, I think that's it. I was wishing I had chapstick in here, but I don't. So here's the lip stuff. Ooh, where's your hair? I'm class mom for my first graders class. There's 3 of us, so it's not just me. I'm not like the lone martyr. They had a play date this morning at the park, and then we had a group get together friend thing with my 5th graders friends, and like the moms went to at the theater to see the Taylor Swift thing, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cute because they were kind of like subdued. I mean, well, not totally subdued. They were like dancing in their seats. And then the 1989 album started playing, and they were like all got up and were jumping, and that was really cute to see them so super duper excited. And there's a thing where she does plays on her piano, and it looks like it's covered in moss. And my first grader went with, but she was just sitting with me. She wasn't sitting with the big girls. And she was like, that's weird. So it was fun to see the concert through her eyes, where she was like, at one point, she's like, I'm really sleepy. And I was like, you could close your eyes. She goes, that's weird. We're at the movie theaters. So, but it was fun to see like that through her eyes, because she's been to concerts before, but we've only first of all, it's been a while. I think since pre-COVID that she's gone to one, because we would go and get grass seats at places and sit outdoors. Hi, Cindy. Good to see you. Okay, you can go last. Sure. Type away. Regine, if you want to go. So it was just fun to see it through her eyes. And we went in. Oh, it's funny because I had brought earplugs, and my middle daughter needs them because I think she has an auditory processing thing, and she's very sensitive to sound. And sure, Allie, go ahead. You can make a donation. And so we stopped like right outside the doors because my little one ran in, and she was like, oh my God, it's so loud. She's like, it scared me. So I gave her, it was just cute. It's just, again, funny, like different going to things. And then somebody was giving away bracelets because they, the like whole Taylor Swift thing. And I happened to get, which I thought was interesting. I didn't know what it said. It said speak now, which I think I'm still wearing it, and I'm showing it to you because if you wonder about synchronicities and how the universe talks to you, this is one. And I know like whatever, it's one of her songs, but it is also one of the things that I'm like working on, of just getting out of my head and not worrying about what I'm saying to people, and not worrying about, do I have my shirt on backwards? Maybe no, I don't know. Worrying about, like that thing that we tell ourselves when other people do the same work we're doing, like, oh, there's a million people are saying this stuff, or what I connect with is totally different than the mainstream, and nobody's going to accept it, blah, blah, blah. So that's that. Okay, my sister Lydia is going to buy land this Wednesday at auction. Will she find something for me too? She will. I actually get 3. So I don't know if that means 3 opportunities for you, or she ends up buying 3 plots of land. Okay, I got yours, Cindy. I'm just waiting on Allie's. And here, I'll put just in case anybody doesn't have it. So it almost feels like it's interesting. It might even be that they're together in some way, because it's like, there's one that's a little bit bigger, And then there's like two a little bit smaller plots. Yeah, it'll definitely be good for you. I don't know that you'll do much with it initially, but I do feel like long term, this is a good thing for you to have. Um, and then I'm just doing this because it gets stuck behind I don't know if y'all have this on your screen, but I get it. And it's like this little red heart, and like it'll get stuck behind it, and then I can't pin it. So that's why I did that. So if you're wondering. Yeah. So I feel like, it's showing me in a line. So I feel like if they're not literally lined up next to each other, they're very close to each other. And it feels like one of those things of like too good to pass up. Or maybe it's one plot that's divided in three and she can get a better deal if she buys all three. But maybe you guys you each get your individual and then go in on the third one. I don't know, but I saw three. So I don't know what that means. I might end up having to take these bracelets off because they're going to drive me nuts, I think. Okay. Censor it. I feel like you'll do more with it in 2027. So it feels like you buy it, but it just kind of sits and hangs out. And that's okay. So it feels like a few years before you really do anything with it. I literally don't even feel like the land is plumbed or anything. Like it looks like prairie land to me. It's just out there. Okay. Sorry, I just have to take these off because I'm like, okay, so Charlie girl, do you know what you want to say? And then Debbie, are you here? You're ready to go now? Okay. So go ahead, Charlie girl, put yours in. Allie, where did you pay at, dear? Oh, Cindy, you have two. Okay. I was spot on last time, but I now have another noisy neighbor. What did I say last time? I don't remember, like literally. I think I keep like minimal amounts of things in my head. It's not personal. It's just, I don't know why I hold on to some stuff and most of the other stuff I don't. I mean, I know why I don't hold on to it, but I don't know why certain things tend to stick in my head versus others. Oh, that they would move, and they did. Okay. Was I right on the timing? Did I say the timing? Okay, Allie, just because yours hasn't shown up doesn't mean you haven't paid. So I'll keep you on the list, but just want to make sure where you paid at. Okay. What was the timing that I said? I'm about a month. Okay. All right. So I actually don't feel like they're fully aware of how noisy they are. I do feel like I don't know if it's baby, but the way they're showing me is like a little kid. There's a lot of playing and movement around. Like I feel like it's which when I'm saying this to you, it doesn't make sense because you're up all hours. So why would it, right? But um oh, hang on. Let me just silence this or something because this is a thread from mom, so I don't need to constantly be reminded of right now. Yeah, Regine, you can. So I was gonna say, sorry, I had to go back to like that. I actually feel like if you would say something, and I think they have no idea how noisy they are. I also feel like they have no rugs or anything on the floor, so it's like you're just hearing. Like it's the feeling like I live in an upstairs, downstairs type old apartment or was a house kind of thing. Like so, I feel like it's not a larger apartment building. And I just keep hearing the wood floors. I feel like there's a need. They don't have any type of rugs or anything down to help absorb some of the sound. But I also feel like they have no idea that they're that loud. So it just feels like it would benefit to even just mention it. Um, Also, as a mom who never sleeps and didn't realize I had sensory issues and didn't realize like before I had kids, I slept a lot better. And I don't blame them, just in case they're listening. But I know your body changes hormonally and blah, 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 for you to be like a little bit more alert and awake for, safety reasons and stuff, like making sure kids not dying and some lion is coming out to attack them at night kind of thing. But earplugs would be beneficial. I have to say, I also feel like I think because I'm bringing up the sensory issue thing, there you might actually have a sensory issue where you're like, and I'm using this as an example, but does people chewing absolutely drive you crazy? Because, like I was telling my daughter, because we all have, it's called misophonia. Um, I think that that's what that one is. We all have it. My daughter's like, they're doing it. I was like, here's the thing. I said, people's chewing drives me crazy too, but I can't tell people not to chew. Hi, Julia. Oh my goodness, you're up so late. Hello, hello. How are you? Do you feel more relaxed when you put in like noise canceling headphones? Do you have any that you could like throw on and just see how your body feels as you feel it? I'm just trying to give you examples why because I'm bringing up so much of this and that seemed more organic. That's why I think there's a reason for it because there's always a reason for something when something comes to my head and I share it, especially when I'm sitting here in this instance, not just in general, like just okay. Just get some little earplugs, even if you just buy those ones at the store that you can. The squishy ones kind of suck. There's actually some ones that are pretty decent and they're not too expensive, and you get two pairs for it. Or you can get two pairs. I get two because I get my little one because it comes in a small and a like a adult size and like a smaller size. If you have tiny ears, maybe you need the smaller size, but not me. And or maybe I just have not tiny ear canals. I don't know. But okay, I'll check in a second, Allie. Okay, so random rambling, sorry. Let me look at the brand of what they are and I'll show you. They're on Amazon. I think they're like $18 for two pairs. They're really comfortable to sleep in. They're kind of a weird shape, but they're really comfortable to sleep in. And it just feels like that might help you. I mean, you can keep wishing away people moving. I mean, you keep manifesting that they move. And it's literally you could, but sometimes we manifest worse. But I feel like this group would be a little bit more understanding if you said like it's really loud at night and I'm having a really hard time sleeping. Um, the brand is Alpine. I'm going to show you on here. And this is like, they're kind of flat. It's hard. I wonder if they have like a better picture. They're really comfortable. I enjoy them myself. But I got them for my daughter. So there, see Alpine. And is it backwards? Is it mirrored? I think it's mirrored. So it's Alpine, and they're called Sleep Deep, and they come with 2 pairs. You can get the small and the medium, or the medium large. You can get just the small. Okay, this is why I buy the 2 also. You can get just the small for $16.95, a pair, a small and a pair of large for $18.95, or just a pair of large for $16.95. So that'll tell you that they're way overpriced for one pair. So, but I genuinely feel like they just are sort of like clueless to how loud and trumpy they are. But again, I feel like they're nice. They're not going to be like the petty people who are like, "Oh, I'll show her. She's going to tell me I'm too loud. I'm going to just be louder." And like, I don't feel like that at all. I think it's literally like, "Oh my God, I had no idea." Sometimes people just don't understand. I think I'm thinking the word I wanted to say was amenable. Amenable. Okay. Devery, are you here? Cindy, you can ask your questions if you want. Allie, are your initials AP? Question is, will any of these things work itself out, change in the coming year? I'm tired of the same issues. Can you be more specific about what issues? Because I know you have a lot going on, so I'm not trying to be. Oh, I just read the first part. Sorry, my dear. So wait, Allie, what are your initials? Because yours isn't through yet then. Oh, wait, I found it. Haha. Because in Regine's. Sorry. Okay, I got it. I just got confused. Hi, Andy. Okay, let me update my list. And then, Devery, I'm going to read this first part of what you wrote and then see that. Okay. Okay. There, I think I got everybody in there. Okay. Okay, I've been going through a lot from being recently cheated on, car breaking down, and oh my God. I'm sorry, Bug. That sucks. Okay. So this is not a like on you. It feels like with the stuff with the car, it literally just feels like hadn't been like maintained, but also I feel like there's a part that's like known to break on that particular model. But I feel like outside of warranty, so they didn't, and I don't know if that they did a recall or what, but it just feels like it's kind of was known. Like a flaw in the design. So it feels like it's interesting. It feels like, and I could be totally wrong on this, like there's something that's rusted in it. Like, so it was like a flaw in design that let stuff get up there. I don't know that really care about this, but because it's coming to me, I feel like I have to like kind of word vomit it out and then share the rest with you. Um, as far as with the relationship, it feels like, and I know it's hard to see it this way because you're like, in the past, you would have tolerated this kind of behavior and taken this person back. And so it feels like this is like one of those things of showing you how far you've come. And it sucks to kind of have to go through this, but like when we start to heal, when we actually are, like I say, are healed, because it doesn't mean that once you're gone through the process of healing that you'll never ever get triggered again, or that nobody will ever treat you terribly again, or that once you change your self concept that people are going to always just show up friendly and nice and wonderful and every opportunity is going to just be perfect. But it's that when you're in those situations, you're like, oh no, I'm not tolerating this anymore. This is not where I need to sit, right? And it's not like a what's wrong with me, because I don't even get that about you. Like, what, I don't feel like in any minute with that situation that you were like, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Why am I not good enough? Like, I literally feel like you're like, what's up with this effort? Right? It's an engine issue now. I just keep seeing like something's rusted. I don't know what that means. Not like I feel like you have a rusted out car. It feels like there's a faulty design where water gets up in there or something gets up in there and creates an issue where it shouldn't be, but it is. And it's again, it's not like, oh, I think you're not taking care of your car. Like I do feel like maybe it went longer and got missed. I don't know what that means, but it's like I don't feel like you have a total beat or anything like that. And I had a car in college, by the way, where my mechanic literally was like, "Would you please get a new car?" It was that bad. So you found out the day after. Oh, schmuck! What a schmuck. So I don't want to be like good. I mean, it's easy to go good riddance, right? But at the same time, it's like you have come a long way, and so I want to congratulate you on you and recognize like you aren't tolerating that. And it's sort of like when we go through that and we get that, then it's like that's where it leaves room open to like allow more in. I did a reading for a woman this weekend, and I have told her, I was like, I keep feeling like you're not going to meet somebody on an app. You're going to meet it in a more like where you're sort of doing your own thing. You're into your own thing. You're, like you're wanting to go do stuff or whatever. And then she's like, she explains, she's like, this is like, she's really dedicated to work all the stuff. So that's not going to work out. But I was like, okay, so you're on the apps. I was like, they're sort of saying like, open it up wider, like open the age range up wider. She's like, I don't want to date somebody even younger. And I was like, but it's that it changes the algorithm. So it feels like whatever you're doing, it's like sort of, it's not that you're actually going to end up like you wouldn't go down to 25-year-olds to date or anything like that, but it's like opening up the energy for the possibility of something different and something like wider range means that they can flow in more, but it doesn't mean that you're going to like, there's all going to be 25-year-olds rolling in. Can I say the last comment you wrote where you said at this point, I'm feeling like I'm going to leave it up to a higher power? Sometimes when we finally give up and stop trying to control it and we're just like, whatever, I'm just going to throw this out there. Like that's when the thing comes in. So like for me, I'm using this as an example. When I finally was like, I done dating app, they weren't apps back then, websites. I had done some of the websites and I would, just terrible experiences on dates and like really not, whatever. I like got off of them for a while. I was like, okay, well, whatever, one more try. And I was like, if this is how I'm supposed to meet somebody, great. If not, I don't care, whatever. Like at this point, like I just don't care. And that's when I met my husband. So take it for what it's worth. It's sort of like when you do finally stop, like, and you're just like, whatever, It sort of like allows it in. That's why I'm like, whatever. Like, if you want it to be this, whatever, fine. Like, I'm clearly trying to control this and not doing that great. Show me what you got. And that it goes to without said, like in every area when you're finally just like, okay, fine, I'm gonna try it. Like, I don't care. I've given up. And they're sort of like, a job at the end of this month or different in the new year. I don't know what this means, but they're showing me like a coin, but not like just a little, like it's more symbolic of something. So I don't know if it's like, maybe it's a job with some kind of financial business. And I'm like, I don't feel like it's a banking. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something financial. And I don't feel like this is like the job you stay at, but it feels like something a little bit more lucrative, a little bit better. By the end of this month, I don't see, because that's just a few days away. Maybe the very beginning of next month. It doesn't feel that far out. So the other thing they're mentioning is like, I know you've been working on self concept and like really doing a lot of visualizing and manifesting. And remember that sometimes, in fact, almost all the time when you do that, things kind of start to fall apart a bit when you start to shift everything. And I said this to my client this weekend, like, because she had said like, oh, every time I start doing this, then something terrible happens, like I lose my job. And I'm like, because you're no longer in the same frequency. So when you start to change your frequency, like things aren't in alignment anymore. So when you started dating him, things were in alignment, but like you're also sort of like, oh, that's the alignment of who I used to be, where I would have tolerated this, or I would have been like, oh no, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? How did I make this happen? When it's like nothing, it's all him. He's all a dingbat. And you're just learning to not tolerate that behavior anymore because you know you're more valuable. February is important for the job. And I feel like moving up. So maybe that's what's coming in is something where I say it's temporary. Maybe it's something where it's like opportunities to move up. This is going to sound weird, but I feel like there's something connected to being like either customer service or a call center or something like that, because I actually see you with like a headset on. I don't think that you'll literally wear that, but it does feel like there's something customer service related to what you're doing. Hi, Gia. Okay. Excuse me, guys. Sorry, that was rude. All right. Cindy, if you want to ask your questions. Oh, gee, I bought you for 2. Sorry. I didn't realize you paid for 2. I'll fix it in a minute. Okay. I signed up for real estate investing class for women and was wondering what you thought of this decision. I feel like it's good. That wasn't even like, I didn't mean to pause so long on that. I was just trying to figure out, because they're pointing out one, I feel like one person is important, and it may be a J name in the class. So maybe it's somebody you end up maybe not partnering with, but maybe going to auctions with or something. There's some like um, friendship you build with it or networky type thing. Um, I feel like this is a really good jumping off point, but I don't feel like this will be the like last sort of class you take for it. It feels like there's going to be something more after it because it feels like this is um, a, a good opener. So maybe something, excuse me, more in detail where you're like, maybe start looking at like how to do more flipping or how to, it's like there's something more where it's like an additional or how to be a good landlord. Like, I don't know exactly what that is, but it's like there's this additional thing to it. I'm going to tell you what my feelings are around real estate because you're going to hear a lot of people talking about there's a big bubble, there's going to be a crash, blah, blah, blah. Um, I don't feel like there's going to be a bubble in like with homeowners. I do feel like it's another 18 months till maybe like 17 now, till the interest rates start to come down. I do feel like there's going to be there's going to start to be a little bit more of a surplus because of the Airbnb. People are going to start needing to sell off their homes. They're not going to be able to, because they're not making any money on it. They're not going to be able to keep holding on to them. So I feel like there is going to be, that's probably where like an 18-month, it starts to kind of open up more. It's not going to crash the rates of the market. It's just that it's going to open up some of these homes a little bit more. I even feel like some of the bigger investors are going to start offloading a little bit too. If you've been here for a while, you know that I've said for a long time, like 2026 starts to change things a lot. So 2024 starts a little bit. 2026 is where we start to see some things happening with shift, and 2028 is a bigger shift. We're going to be moving towards universal healthcare. We will not be staying where we're at right now. But remember, when those changes happen, it's going to look scary, right? It's going to look scary in the sense that they're going to, make us worry that everything's falling apart because, oh my God, insurance is changing, insurance industry is changing, and oh my God, all these people. But it'll all balance out. It'll all shift out. Jobs will move around and shift around for different specialties and different needs. Same thing with the real estate market. Laundromats are good ones, by the way, from what I understand. So, okay, what's your other question? Also, vending machines. Yeah, that's weird, but congratulations. Did I say you would be or something, or you just randomly said this? So I didn't know. Oh, you were losing weight, wanted to be sure it isn't health issues behind it. It's stress. It's not health issue. I don't feel no, it's stress. I don't feel any issues in there. I just feel like it's stress related. I do feel like there's something you have switched up where you didn't realize it would make that big of a difference, but it has. So it's like something small, but it has made a big difference. But I also feel like it's stress. And I don't feel like, oh no, I can't eat. I'm just so overburdened. It's like I have so much on my plate. I forgot to eat. Not as much starch. Yeah. So you didn't think that it would make that big of a difference, but it does. So that's that. Nope, I don't see anything bad. Okay. I did another reading last week. I thought it was interesting because she was like, literally everything you said that I was like worried about these things. And she's like, and I wish I would have gone back and read my notes because you had mentioned all of these things that were happening. So I mentioned something about her mammogram and like, don't like, they're going to come back with something and they're going to, say that they need to see it and then, but it's going to be fine. And then I mentioned something about like her having TMJ. And then like, she was like, oh my God, she had all these headaches and it was like miserable. And she went and did all these tests and like going through all this stuff. And she's like, and there it was right in your notes, like that I had TMJ. And she's like, and that's exactly what the problem was. And then she's like, and I was stressing out about this like mammogram. And then there it was right in your notes. Like, cause I'm not ever like, don't go to the doctor. I'm like, go to the doctor. But like when this comes up, don't get scared and freaked out. Just be like, okay, I don't have to worry because X, Y, and Z, like I'm going to do what the doctor needs me to do. I'm going to do all the follow-ups, yada, yada, yada. But like not to panic because stress makes everything worse. Panicking, worrying. And I swear to God, none of us will ever be on our deathbed and go, I wish I would have worried a lot more. I wish I would have stressed out. And like, you were like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have panicked so much. Right. So, okay. Allie, do you want to go? Maybe we should start a thing where we start manifesting for each other. New technique I learned and I really like it. And I've kind of done it before. Sorry for the random interjection. It's somebody called it the ask formations. I don't remember the name of the woman, but she's got something on YouTube. And I found her on TikTok, but she's got a YouTube channel as well. Oh, you know what, Allie, Gia did too. Allie, you did. Thank you for checking, for letting me know. So yes, Allie, you did. I just didn't put it in. And then Gia has too. So let me fix that really quick. I'm going to leave you off, Allie, since you did. I'm just going to take your name off of this list. Nicole, yeah, you can donate if you want. So go ahead and ask your questions. But so affirmations, it's like, she's like, because your brain doesn't argue with like the biggest part of when you're manifesting and you're changing belief systems is the cognitive dissonance, right? The arguing. Your brain was like, no, I like this. Even it's bad for you. It's like, it's comfortable. I don't have to do much. It's just autopilot, right? And so this is sort of like why is it so easy for me to manifest it? Why is it so easy for me to make so much money? Why is it so easy for me? Like something like that, whatever. If you're doing a job thing, like, why is it so easy for like me? Or why does everybody just love me and whatever? Why are there so many jobs for me to choose from? And why do I, when I get interviewed, like everybody just loves and adores me and wants to hire me? Like you could do it that way, but where you ask it as a question to where your brain starts to find the solution and filter it out, right? It changes the algorithm. If you do it that way, I don't know. I'm just working on that. I'm trying it. So I'll let you know how it goes. But I did feel, the one thing I felt is like when I was first like getting in, like I've only really did it. I just found it yesterday. So I spent some time like writing and sort of staying in that mindset and that space of like asking affirmations. And I felt my heart space felt really good when I got done doing that. And I always feel like that's a good thing. If you can feel energetically that you're kind of perked up a little bit, this is probably a good technique to keep working with. I like the lucky girl syndrome. I think it's like, I really don't think that there's one way. I think it's whatever it is that your brain needs to like sort of like poke at it and get it to shift. And that's different for all of us, right? And that's the same thing with like, even when you ask any teacher, it's like they have to teach things 15 different ways in a public school because there's so many ways that kids learn, and some kids learn one way and some kids learn another. And it's not a one size fits all. Whereas like, so example was my daughter had missed last year she was out for, I don't know, either COVID or the flu or whatever. And he's like, well, she missed a lot of school. And I was like, okay, well, what did you learn? And he's like, lines of symmetry. And I was like, okay. And it's like, she's like, what's lines of symmetry? And I looked at her, I go, it's where like when you take a shape, if it's exactly the same on one side and the other, like right in the middle, I go, that's lines of symmetry. Whereas if it's different on one side versus the other, then there's no line of symmetry. And she's like, oh, and I was like, okay. So it was literally like a 5-minute conversation, showed her a picture and whatever, but they spent a week on it. And it's not because like all kids are dumb. It's just all kids learn differently. And some kids can't just see it, know it, and understand it like a quick visual. They need to do it a whole bunch of different ways to kind of melt it into their brain. Okay, I started job hunting again. Will I get lucky this time? So there's something that you're going to get a ping on in November, but I don't think that this is like anything other than just like maybe I get an interview or something like that, and it sort of falls through. And then it feels like more is going to start opening it up like the third week of January, where you're going to start things starting to open up a little bit more. Um, I know it sounds weird. It seems counterintuitive with like as terrible as the world is presenting itself right now, but it just feels like more opportunities opening up next year. Like, and I don't think we're going to World War III. So let me just be clear on that. And the other thing is if that were to happen, it's going to look very different than anything we've done before. So it's going to be more like cyber attacky kind of stuff. You feel like you're never good enough. Lady, stop it. That is a self-concept thing. Start practicing the like, let me find this person so you can just see what I'm talking about. Maybe like the last thing I listened to. Affirmations. It's Mona, Mona Khad, Khad. I don't know. Maybe it's CAD. And it's 100 affirmations to reset your mind. You can either decide to go, I'm not good enough, and that's why nothing shows up, or you can say like, they're not vibrational fit, and it's passing me by because I don't need to be there because it would be disastrous. I spent a lot of years saying like, oh, nobody wants to work with me, or nobody, like, I'm not good enough, like all that kind of stuff. Like maybe I'm not a good enough reader. Maybe I'm not talented enough. Maybe this and that. Because I wasn't lining up with like groups of people to work with, there was like some woman that was sort of well known here. I think she moved to Florida now. And she had wanted to take me under her wings a little bit. And then like, it just didn't work out. And she was like, ended up not being that nice, but it ended up being like, I wasn't really in alignment with them either. And I just always like I started trusting that like, if it's not working out, it's because I'm not in alignment with that person rather than it's because there's something wrong with me. We're just not energetically aligned. It just feels like more opportunities opening up a little bit after the first of the year. I understand. So like I said, I feel like there's an interview opportunity. I don't feel like you're not making any money. Listen, I want you to look at it this way. Sounds stupid, and it's not to be like that I'm missing the point or that I don't understand that like it sucks to live paycheck to paycheck. It sucks to have no money coming in or to just feel like that desperate financial crunch. Especially when you feel like what I want to happen is not happening. There are hiring signs everywhere. It may not be the money that you want, but it's something. It's like, go take a job to take a job just to sort of like understand you have money coming in and keep looking. I have worked some really shitty jobs to work through that. Even like when I was here as a travel nurse, again, I had another travel nurse was like, how the fuck do you stay at this place so long? And I was there for like, I think I did like 3 or 4 contracts in a row there. And I was like, because I want to stay in New York. And every time that my contract is up, there's nothing open in my specialty. Like there's no straight peds jobs anywhere in Manhattan. I didn't want to go out to Queens and Brooklyn and all that other stuff. I did end up in the Bronx at a point, which was fine, but it's a long commute. And I was just kind of like, I don't, and I was like, so I stay here. And I just figured out ways to make it work where it was like, I floated. I didn't work in one unit all the time because there was a lot of political stuff. There's a lot of political stuff in hospitals and medicine. And I don't want to deal with that. Like, I just want to go to work and do my job. Like I'm good with being a taskmaster. Just tell me what you need me to do. I'll do it. It's fine. But I don't want to deal with everybody's drama and like ego-y, whatever stuff. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't care. Like, so it may not even be like you need to take another job. It just may need to do that. Like, you start to say to the universe, like, how come the universe shows me all these different ways that I can make money? So you'll start to see, like, so I'm doing it as if you're doing an ask formation, or isn't it amazing how many different ways that the universe shows me how I can make money? So it's not necessarily that you're going to take those jobs, but it's just to start to see the opportunity rather than the abyss of nothingness. And then also, please scratch that from your brain of, I am never good enough, because what follows I am is extremely important. Fuck your dad. Sorry. Fuck your dad. Like, is your dad a happy person? Because if he's not happy, I wouldn't be taking advice from him. My mom thought that I wasn't a registered nurse for a long time because I got my associate's degree because I had been in school. I switched from nursing to healthcare administration. I was nearing my final. It's like I had one semester left before I did a year-long internship and then would have graduated with a degree for healthcare administration, a bachelor's. And I was like, well, I heard a voice, but that's another story. But like, I went and changed schools and I got a really good education, even though it was an associate's degree at a community college. And my mom was like, she didn't really say it to me, but it was like, oh, she's not a real RN. She's not a real nurse. And I was a fucking real nurse. So like, there's going to always be somebody who's questioning you about what you're doing. And it's more often than not going to be a family member or a friend. Do you know how many people said to me that I knew, like, you need to pray to God about what you're doing? Oh, that's the devil's work. Are you sure? Like so unsure. And like, they would say in front of me, like, that they support me and back me, but energetically, I knew they really weren't. So it's like, sorry for the language, but fuck your dad. Who the fuck is he? Like, don't take advice from people. I've spent so much time taking advice from people. And this is 45-year-old me looking back, taking advice from people who were the fucking wrong people to give you the advice. Like, sorry, YouTube. I always say this is not for kids. So the absolute worst people to give me advice on relationships, on how to be a good wife, on how to be a good mother, on how to blah, blah, blah. Like, people who were miserable and terrible at those positions. So like, stop, like, but like, okay, cool, dad, thanks. Just go do your own thing. Find your own path. And it doesn't have to be the path that makes them happy. Because the thing is you're going to look back on your deathbed and go, why did I even let that man's thing bother me? Stop looking outside of yourself for somebody to tell you you're enough or valuable. You are. I'm telling you, if you want somebody to tell you, I'm telling you right now. What do I know? I sit in your energy all the time. All of you. I mean, I sit in it. It's one of the things I find the most frustrating about doing this work. It isn't that it's not that, like, oh, you ask me about relationships, or oh, you ask me out and when is it going to happen? And I'm like, at a point, I'm like, I don't know. And it's that you, and I'm preaching to the choir to myself here. I'm the choir here, not you. Because you can't see how amazing you are. I do it myself. Where like if you could sit in that energy the way I get it from them, it's like literally all you have to do is just be like, I'm good enough, I'm valuable, I'm worthy. And then understand that when you do that and you get to that point, some of the shit in your life is going to fall apart. It's not going to stay with you because you're no longer in alignment. It doesn't fit you vibrationally anymore. But please stop doubting yourself. I sat here doing these readings. I've been doing these for so long. And people who have started much further after me have excelled further than I have. Does it mean they're better readers? No. It means that I'm supposed to take this path on this journey in this way for whatever reason. And there's something I'm supposed to learn along the way. I can tell you that I'm a much, much, much better reader than I was whatever ago because of the experience that I had being a mom, being a wife, being a 45-year-old woman and experiencing life through this, these oppressive times and also expansive times. That some of those even women readers don't have because they don't have the experience of being a wife. They don't have the experience of being a mother. So while they can offer one perspective, there's a whole other world that I can offer. So so here's this. At what age, and I'm pretty sure you're Hispanic. At what age, and so I know that there's a cultural aspect to that. So when I'm saying this, I didn't mean like anything. It's just, I know that culturally Hispanic families tend to be very, very close and it is very tight knit family thing. And, my babysitter, her family, they're Peruvian. And it's really funny because she's like, oh, we'd live together forever, but they've gone through it. They have a lot of, enmeshment and things like that. But here's the thing. You would do yourself a giant disservice if you constantly look for somebody else to help you find your happiness. To give you permission to go follow whatever it is you want. I'm giving you permission. You've got it. You need somebody else to give you permission. I've just put myself on a pedestal. Kidding. But the truth is like that's like, give yourself the permission. And then if you're supposed to listen to your parents, like till what age? Till like 27 when your brain is no longer an adolescent brain. I think it's like 25 to 27 now. Like, is that the point you get to stop listening? Or like, at what point do you get to take ownership of your life? Even though at 18, you're supposed to like, you're fully responsible and any decision you make is yours and yours alone. And like, you're the one who can go to jail for it. You're the one who, is held accountable, but you're still supposed to listen to your parents. Like, at what point do you get to step into your grown-up shoes? So that's where you need to go, like, go back and like talk to little you, go to the little girl and be like, you know what? I got you now. You're okay. You're safe. Or teenage you, or 20-year-old you, or 25-year-old you. I got you. You're safe. We can do this. We are capable. We are resilient. We're able to trust ourselves and our intuition. Everybody's family's toxic. Let's put it that way. Like everybody, everybody has some weird something in their lives. Some are worse than others, but I have yet to meet somebody who's like, when you really talk to them and really get into it, where you're like, everybody's kind of got it like a little fucked up. And usually the ones where they're like having these like amazing Instagram stories, like, they're usually the most. And I'm not saying nobody ever has a healthy family, because there are, but even if you have a really healthy relationship with your parents, there's usually a sibling that's a little fucked up. Like, I don't know what it is. There's usually one that's just a little bit And everybody's got that uncle, right? So it has to be somebody's sibling that's a little messed up. You're not wrong with everything. That's where doing the affirmations and doing that self-concept work and really looking at, where did I get this belief system that I don't know enough? Where did I get this belief system? Like I see it for myself, like in relationships, and not just like romantic, whatever that I've had throughout my life, but like all relationships, a certain way things show up. And I'm like, okay, that's the universe showing me, like, if that's your belief system, this is how people show up. Right. So that's the one thing I'm really working on, is like, oh, I am valuable and I have things that are valuable to share, and my voice matters, and it's okay for me to share those things, and around respect and being heard, et cetera, et cetera. So when do I see? So it feels like November, and then it feels like after the first of the year, like third week of January. But it doesn't mean no money coming in until then. It doesn't mean no jobs at all. I do feel I don't know what this means. So maybe you work like a holiday job, because it just feels like there's a kind of a like a lull spot where I'm not seeing, like, it's literally like blacked out. So not that anything's physical happening to you. It just feels more energetically money wise. It feels like there's maybe not a lot coming in like the last week of December, or right after, like, like it's right around there where I feel like there's a little spot where I'm not. So maybe you end up getting a holiday job somewhere or something to help bring in some extra money. Um, but do yourself a giant favor and work on that inner monologue, because it just feels better to not walk around feeling like garbage about yourself. And everybody deserves to feel good about themselves. And you don't have to have like accolades, because I want you to think about all the numbers of people who, I mean, are crazy talented, have awards, have successes, and they're not okay, right? So if you're looking for those things to say, like, I'm successful, I've got it, I can handle life, that they're not, that those things are not going to do it unless you work on the what your inner dialogue is, and reminding yourself. And it's literally like, have a conversation with yourself. Like, no, 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 we're good. We got this. We can handle this. Look at all these wonderful things we have accomplished. I got us through school. Isn't that amazing? My second question is, if my guides can tell me why I'm sad. I feel like people give me a hard time and I'm always doing something wrong. I feel so unwanted sometimes. So I want you to look at the story of how people, first I'll go back to, I'll tell you the guy's name, but go back to and start looking at, did I feel wanted and loved as a kid? This is not bash my parents' time. I don't want to take responsibility about it. But if you don't feel wanted, or you feel like you're a burden when you're a kid, that stuff sticks with you. And I don't think parents do this on intentionally. I think it's just the stress of life, sort of. Not all parents. Some parents are just total assholes, but the majority of parents, I feel like, they're genuinely trying with all their heart, and they just screw up. They pass along the wrong stuff. Um, it just feels like, go back to that. And I do feel energetically like your house is like kind of dark and heavy. Is your room in the basement? Um, or the first floor? I just feel like I do feel like you're probably low on your vitamin D level, because they're talking about going outside and getting fresh air and being out in the open. Like, people want to treat whatever they wait. People want to treat whatever they feel it. Um, So it is kind of talking, and I guess that's why I went off on a whole tangent about doing the affirmations, doing the self-concept work. I know it's like, and I hear you, you're like a broken record. You say it all the time. I would not say it if it didn't work. I wouldn't say it if I sat in these readings. This is what I said. The most frustrating thing is that I sit here and I feel I'm like, it is literally, and this is I've been on the receiving end of readings where it's like, and I've gotten it from my guides too. It's like, just like, you're enough. You matter. That's it. Like, you don't have to accomplish anything. You don't have to do anything else. You matter just as you are. And it's literally a matter of going in and reprogramming the system in here that got the wrong programming initially. Because look around, just start listening to where things, like really paying attention to where your belief systems come from, how the information comes in. Wait, they're happy to be happy, and if they're not, I shouldn't. Oh, well, that's just, your room is in the basement. Okay. Um, so yeah, I feel like you need to get out. I also feel like, so if you can open a window in your room, especially while it's nice and windy and without like things blowing in, but like just to get some fresh air movement in the room, it feels like you really need to do that. And then getting outside more. So there's an element of needing fresh air, of needing to be out in nature, of needing to just, even if it's just sitting out on your deck, but needing a little bit more vitamin D. And then like, it took me a long time and a lot of like, and I swear, like I was telling a friend who's, our kids are friends, and I was like, I swear to God, I didn't get this until I was 40. Just about relationships and friendships and just interactions and things like that. And like, didn't care anymore. Like, it's like, well, yes, it sucks if you're not invited to things, but like, damn, I don't want to be around people who don't want me around. And that has nothing to do with me. That doesn't mean I'm not enough anymore. Right? And there literally are going to be people out there who are miserable when you're happy, who will try and sabotage you when you're happy because they're so miserable. They want to pull somebody down because it makes them feel better about themselves. And a lot of times those people are your family. Even when you're working, go outside for 20 minutes or so. Just be outside, commune with nature. Don't be on your phone. Just like literally just sit there and soak it in. Have a little conversation with the trees. They're beautiful right now. Or the plants. You know that plants can recognize you. They've done studies on it. Trees recognize you. Talk to them. So it's like the combination of like a little bit off balance, and then like reframing, like stop giving so many people so much permission to hold power over you. So don't. To like literally you just decide like, oh, that's like not mine to deal with. You're a whole grown person and you are responsible for your emotions. And I feel bad for you and it sucks. And you can be empathetic without needing to like jump in and need to rescue. The other aspect of that too is like, when do we learn the most in life? Through our mistakes. And if we're trying to like constantly rescue people or like let them not feel their feelings or all of that stuff, we're harming them. People are allowed to have their feelings, and you don't have to be like, all like, oh, if I'm not, you're, if somebody's in a bad mood and like, then, and they get mad at you for like being in a good mood, that's manipulation. That's kind of abusive behavior. And not like the worst thing in the world, but it's just like, oh, well, okay, well, sorry you're going through it. And you can always reframe it of like, if I was having a bad day, are you supposed to also feel terrible and shitty? Like, I just, let me know if that seems appropriate or right. Or you just ignore it and go about your day and let them sit and stew. because it's not your job to rescue everybody. You can't. And it's not your job to feel like, oh, they're miserable, I have to be miserable too. You know? And it took me a long time to realize that. And it doesn't mean, and the other part is like, you're going to feel like, oh, I don't care. I'm not really a good enough person. Yes, you are. Yes, you can care without just jumping into that pile of garbage. We don't need to do that. We don't have to suffer in order to be good people. Like, they would not for 1 second allow you to let them have a bad day because you were having a bad day. You flip the script, and it would not, like, they would be like, how dare you? So fuck them. So that's my word today, I guess. Fuck them, fuck it. We don't have time for that baloney. All right, Regine. I've been doing small purchases in crypto, like $20 at a time. You see me doing well with this. I don't see it as being like a I can retire on this, but I feel like it's a nice cushion. Like, they're showing me a little cushion. So I'm going to sound like conspiracy theorist for a minute when I'm going to talk about Palestine and things that are going on there. It's not as cut and dry as they're making it sound. Like, oh, Hamas just attacked us, and somebody funded Hamas, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was done in a way to allow this. Like, there's just I do feel like they were trying to make crypto more commonplace and start changing some of the banking systems. I don't think it'll happen as soon as we think. That said, so it's like, don't sink all your money into it, but $20 in here and there, it's fine because it's money you can lose, right? It just feels like it ends up being a little cushion. Like, you could plan a really nice vacation with it, type thing, or do a little renovation on a house, but it's not enough to like retire on. And that doesn't mean, oh, go sink all your money into it. It feels like you're doing it the right way, the way you should be doing it right now. Because they said it's going to be a little volatile for a little while. And crypto is not going to be quite like what it is right now. It's going to, there will be an aspect of it that's like more regulated. As much as people like to try and do, well, it's not regulated. Everything ends up getting regulated. It just does, especially if it's making money. They want to get their hand in it. They, by meaning government, higher powers, blah, blah, blah. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. And everything's about everything, all the wars and things we fight, everything. When you look back on them and you go to them, it's all about power and money and control. It is not really ever about, like, even the land right now is more about us having a foothold in the Middle East and oil and control and all of it. That's why we connected with Israel and supported them so much. It's so that we have essentially a military connection over there and a base. And I'm happy to be wrong, and I'm happy for somebody to tell me I'm wrong. But from the research I'm doing, it's not just like, it's not as cut and dry as everybody's mainstream media is making it, and certain people are making it. Anyway, Andy, what's your question? And again, I am not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not like, I get so much stuff where I'm like, I have to filter and weed through. I'm like, this is conspiracy. This is not where I want. Hello, TikTok, wrong algorithm. Because I'm interested in herbs and natural medicine, but no, I don't necessarily disagree with Western medicine either. So I don't know. Anyway, okay. Regine and Gia, you guys are up. Not Regine, Andy and Gia. Go ahead, Andy. Or Gia, whoever's here, if someone's here. There we go. What is Jeff's real intentions with me? Gives me obsessed player vibes. Okay. I don't know what's I don't think he's a player. Trying to think of how to say this without sounding like, he's a part of patriarchy and he's a part of misogyny. He kind of reminds me of some of the guys that I grew up with and was friends with growing up, and my 20s and stuff, and where there's like always like a double standard. Like, I don't feel like he's cheating or like kind of going out with other girls, but I definitely feel like he looks, and he's not necessarily indiscriminate about it. But I just feel like if you did the same thing, it would be an issue. And he sort of takes the like, well, this is how guys are. Like, that's how he justifies it to himself. I don't necessarily think he's a bad guy. I just think he's a product of patriarchy. So it's like, and also just not being very grown up. And I don't know if it's just, I want to say, is he 22? But then they're like, no, but I feel like my brain is at 22. Thank you for saying something, Nicole, because I hadn't checked. We're not dating. We just have this on and off thing, and he's 28. Well, he feels 22. Nicole, I'm not. Did you? Hang on. You must have paid on one of my old PayPals. Let's see. Not my old, but my personal one. I'm trying to switch everything over to be like the businessy. And I realized, and I felt like such a ding dong. I was like, guys, can you just stop paying on this thing? And it's like, they're like, oh, that's the link that's on your email. I'm like, sorry. Such an a-hole I am. Oh, Emily, are you here? No, wait. Is that right? What? Emily, are you here? Emily! Okay, I gotcha. Um, it's okay, no worries. I'm trying to switch over so I'm not so if you could just in the future, just because I'm trying to make my bookkeeping a little bit easier for myself. So I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I really want to make my bookkeeping easier for myself. Please. Um, so I don't feel like
I don't have an answer for
Shh,
that.
I don't either. Go away. Why do you do that? Um, Siri doesn't have an answer for that either. um, I don't feel like he doesn't not want to be with you, but I don't feel like he's I don't know. He might not necessarily the best fit. So it's not like, oh, don't ever, play the games, like don't have sex with him, blah, 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 like that kind of stuff. It's like I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like if you want to have fun with him and you're good with that, then that feels like where he's at. Um there's this energy of him that's sort of frat boy energy to me. I don't know, maybe he's in a frat, but it's just like a frat boy energy to me of just kind of like, I have my own rules and I don't know. He's not very emotionally grown yet. All right. Yeah. So it's like, it's not that he doesn't have potential, just they're showing me a group of people that I'm like, oh, and they're people where it's like, look, I'm going to tell you something that people will always tell on themselves when they're dating, and they will share and divulge a lot, and it's always in a kind of a different way. Um, but if you're open to it rather than seeing the possibility in somebody and just really being open to what they're saying and who they are, they'll tell on themselves every time. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a red flag. It can just be like, oh, that's your pattern and that's your behavior and you're telling on yourself. And then it's like, do I really want to pursue something and potentially spend the rest of my life with somebody who's like X, Y, and Z, who, they tell on themselves when they're not gonna, only because I've seen it in so many patterns of relationships. Like, oh yeah, he said that he was going to be the lazy one, like in a million different ways. Yeah, but that's also like the I can't have what I want, so I want to go have what I want. I want to be able to eat my cake, have my cake and eat it too. So like and then that becomes about your energy, and if you want to get what you want from the universe, then it becomes about your energy of like, no, that's not what I want. I want commitment. I want somebody who's respectful. I want somebody who respects me. Why? Because I respect myself. I'm valuable. I'm worthy. I'm worth my time. My time is valuable. I want somebody who's emotionally available, who's emotionally intelligent, um, who's a great listener, who's open to communication rather than devaluing you, that kind of stuff. Okay, so second question is what's coming up for me? I don't know. I'm asking this because I'm seeing like a vineyard. So it feels like traveling in the spring to go to vineyards. So I don't know if it's like a wine tour either in Napa. It's odd. I was sort of leaning towards France actually initially. Um, but I feel like some kind of trip where I'm going on like a wine thing. But I also feel like there's an aspect of it where you're actually going to be like, I don't know if it's like farm to table food, because I feel like I'm literally eating like a fresh carrot. And it feels like in the spring. It doesn't feel like this year. It's like funny. It's like I'm thinking about it being France, but I'm leaning away from it because I feel like maybe that's not a good time to go. But it's like still really looking at, so it's like maybe California, but I feel like it's like I'm doing something with a vineyard. There's some aspect of it that seems important. Well, let me know. But that's what I feel like it's coming up for you, is like the biggest thing. And everything else feels pretty status quo. I don't feel like I'm um, not doing well otherwise. Andy, are you here? If not, Nicole and Emily, you guys can go. Andy, are you still here? Andy, can you hear me? And I know that should be public. Can you hear me? And I don't even know. Oh, it's the only part I know of it. Because I'm a terrible, whatever. Can I just get a general? Your turn. Okay, I'll do yours since nobody else is jumping in here. I feel like your anxiety has been bad lately, because I just feel it right here. Are you getting over COVID or something? Because I actually feel like this is related to that. Because I just felt like really like like weird. Um, like my skin feels a little extra sensitive, and then the anxiety. I'm even feeling like little heart palpitations. I haven't been sick, but my dog almost got attacked today. Maybe that's the anxiety. Are you having heart palpitations? You know, where it feels like a flutter when you breathe? I feel like you said your dog was almost attacked today. It's funny. I feel like your dog is okay though, and I feel like the other dog was a pretty big dog, and it's just the dog owner is uh, not self-aware enough to recognize that their dog really should be held on a tighter leash or walked at different times. Um, I know this is obvious, but it's like next time, it's like when you're walking, really pay attention. Like don't be on your phone at all, and just like cross the street when you see that dog. Kind of avoid. But I do feel kind of like this. It's really important for you to be. Um, oh, interesting. Are you about to put in on a new property? Because I just feel like you're going to be investing, and there's more property coming in for you to be managing. I actually do feel like, and I'm not saying this is like right now, but I feel like eventually you're upwards of 20 properties. I'm not kidding. Like you are going to be heavily invested in properties. Um, you maybe even moving into that as like that's what you do full time. And this feels like maybe 10 to 15 years out, but you're going to have a significant number of properties. You know, Cher once said, like her mom was like, "Oh, you should just marry a rich man." And Cher was like, "I am the rich man." It just feels like you're really going to be stepping into that energy of being the rich man. Like, not looking so much like where when you find a partner, first of all, you're going to have a prenup, but second of all, like it's like not looking to them to be the like you're the damsel in distress, and you just really need them in order to feel whole and complete. It's like I don't know, like you're going to be stepping into a very different energy, um, where you're the breadwinner. And I keep getting like honestly, like even if you don't have all of those properties at the time when you're meeting this person, it feels like you want to get a prenup. Okay. Like you here's the thing, is like people are like, oh, I don't want a prenup, blah, blah, blah. If you don't set one up, the state sets one up for you. And you may not like their terms. So make the terms on your own accord. And then it's in writing, it's squared away. There's nothing wrong with prenups. Like at all. Like they're super smart, super valuable, and should like literally, I mean, I feel like should be just done in the beginning of the relationship when you actually like each other, so that like you are a little bit more fair and kind. It's truthfully, because the ends of relationships, your people are not kind to each other at all. They're just fucking can be really, really vile and vicious. That's not the time to try and hammer out what would be fair and equitable in a relationship. So that's what I'm getting for you. Okay. And then Emily wants a general. Andy, are you here? Andy, can you hear me? Stop it. Emily, I feel like maybe a job change in closer to home in January. It was on my own floor in the building. The dogs slipped out of their apartment. Oh, that is scary. Stupid owners. Just kidding. So maybe just carry your dog. I don't know. Either like peek out. You want to be closer to home. So I don't know if there's like I'm literally seeing like an Old Navy. So I don't know if there's an Old Navy near you, but it's like I feel like you're really close to home. And I know there's a Target near you. But I don't necessarily feel like you're like I feel like taking a managerial position or something. Like I feel like you're going to be if you did something like that, you'd be like more management than just like on the floor. Um but I feel like you're definitely closer to home. I do feel like you're kind of dragging a little bit, not feeling as happy um, and tired. Um, maybe not getting all the support that you really need. And maybe a little bit more isolated than you normally are. Because I feel like you're not getting the support that you've given to other people in your family. So I do feel like if you talk to your husband, um, that that could change. And I feel like specifically mom keeps coming up as an issue. And I don't know if it's just like feeling kind of let down, that feeling like not like, oh, we have a big butting of heads, but I just feel a little let down. Are you, I don't know if you're dehydrated or something's off because I just feel a little dizzy. Oh my God. Ugh. I have my in-laws helping out and they're not here. Oh. Hmm. It's probably from the nursing. Drink more water. If you don't want to drink water, drink seltzer. That could make everybody gassy though. But yeah, drink more water. Those little buggers will suck you dry. Because remember, your body will take from whatever it needs to give to her to support her. So, just see if I had any more tea in there. But I feel like in January, it feels like after. So it feels like maybe I stay where I'm at work wise, just because there's a little bit of extra additive incentive during the holiday season, and then I leave after that. But it does feel like you'll get something much closer to home, and I feel like this also then lends to like giving you a little bit more where this is gives you a little bit more flexibility in your schedule, so you don't feel so like you're struggling so much for childcare and for even just being with your kids. And I don't necessarily, it's interesting because I'm like asking about childcare like outside of you and your husband, and it feels like it ends up balancing out where you're not having to pay like a third party or get a third party to come in and help out. It's just it works out to between your schedules to be able to be between the two of you when you work closer to home. Okay. I'll send you a text. All right. Andy, are you here? Are you still here? Because if not, I'm going to go and I'll refund your money. I feel like I should stop refunding people money and just be like, too bad, so sad. But that's like, all right. Just because I want to bounce out of here. I'm tired and it's late. Oh God, I got to get the kids to bed and eat quick. All right. So that's that. I'm going to say goodnight. I hope everybody understands. I will see y'all later. Andy, I will refund your money. Okay. Sweetest dreams to everybody. Have a wonderful week. Full moon coming up here next Saturday. Do some manifesting. Do the askformations. The askformations. Research askformations. And hang on, let me tell you the name again. Mona, Mona, Khad, Khad, here on YouTube. Okay. Good night.